How you doing today, guys? Welcome back to another day of 7th grade math. This is Mr. Gomez, your favorite teacher in the whole world. And today we're going to be talking about circles. We're going to be doing some problems involving circles, whether it's to find the circumference or to find the area for them. Either way, we're going to have to use the respective formula. And to go over the formulas, let me go ahead and show you that you should have, everybody has access, and this is the one that they're gonna give you whenever you take a test. So reference chart for 7th grade, and this is the one right here. And we're gonna be looking at circles, okay? So we have different formulas for circles. For ones, let me see, we have circles right here, but this is circumference, okay? And then we have circles right here, but this is under area. So we have different formulas. Now, circumference. Circumference is going to be the outside of the circle. Basically, the perimeter, if you want to call it like that. And we have two formulas. We have circumference equals 2 pi r, or circumference equals pi v. Now, pi, we have two values for pi, either 3.14 or 22/7. You can use whatever you want to use. I usually stick with this one, 3.14. However, there's going to be some instances on tests that they want you to use the fraction. If they want you to use the fraction, you just go ahead and use the fractions. We already know how to multiply fractions straight across. And now for the formula for the area of the circle, we have pi r squared. However, a lot of you struggle with this little thing right there, okay? That's called an exponent. That's an exponent of power of 2. So basically, this means pi times radius times radius. So you're gonna, whatever the radius is, you're gonna multiply that 2 times. Not times 2, but 2 times. And we're gonna go over that. So let me go back to the assignment, or the review in this case, and we have this one right here. So first off, I'm gonna go ahead and write down the formulas. Again, for pi, we have 3.14 or 22/7. For circumference equals pi v or 2 pi r. Okay, you can rewrite this as 2r pi. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do is fine. Whenever you multiply, the order does not matter. The order does not change the product. That's for circumference. And just to remind you, the circumference is the outside. And you might want to call it also perimeter if you want to. Well, you shouldn't, but it gives you an idea. That's circumference. Now, the other thing that we have is area. For area, we have pi times radius square. But every time you have a circle and you need to find the area, if you write it, the formula, pi times radius, you will not make the mistake. The common mistake that I see is that people, let's say the radius equals 4, right? The common mistake that I see all the time is that students do for pi 3.14 times 4 times 2. Because you see this right here. However, that is not the case. This is wrong. You should actually do times that. That's why this looks more like that. Okay? Just a reminder. Now, we have two more terms. We have diameter and radius. And just to give you an example, the radius is the line from the center of the circle to the edge. And diameter is the line all the way across. And you can also find this. So the radius equals 2 times the diameter. That's why the formula is right here on the circumference. Or the diameter equals the radius, the radius is the diameter divided by 2. That's why you have a 2 right here on the circumference formula, 2 times the radius. Or the diameter equals 2 times the radius. Those are the things that you need to know and remember. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to work some of the pink problems. It says number 3 on page 1. It says a house is located at the center of a circular lot, exactly 10 yards from the edge of the lot. Okay? If they don't give you the drawing, it's very important that you go ahead and do the drawing. That way you know if you're dealing with radius or diameter. It says, how much fence will the homeowner need to surround the entire lot? So they want to go ahead and fence this. So basically they're going to do the outside, use the edge. So in this case, we're going to be looking for circumference. And for circumference, we have 2 formulas. Pi d or 2 pi r. In this case, they gave us the radius. So I can go ahead and use the second one. Or if the radius is 10, the diameter is going to be 2 times that, right? So if the radius is 10, that means my diameter is actually going to be how much? 20. I just always like to use the actual diameter instead of. So my diameter equals 20 because my radius is 10. So my formula is pi d. So this is going to be 3.14 times 20. And all I got to do now is multiply. However, you can just go ahead and estimate because we have answer choices right now. 20 times 3 is what? 60, right? This is nowhere near 60. This is half of that. And that's 300. So my best option is going to be C, without even finishing multiplying. However, if you multiply 3.14 times 20, 0, 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 3 is 6. You move the decimal 2 places, and that is my answer. See, many times, if you have answer choices, guys, you can go ahead and estimate. And you should do that all the time. Let's look at number 4. Number 4, it says, Ariel glue a strip of ribbon around the edge, keyword, around the edge of a circular picture frame so that there was no gap or overlap of the ribbon. If the picture frame has 8 inches in diameter, how much ribbon did he use? I know that the ribbon is 8 inches in diameter, so that means it's a circle, because right there. So go ahead and draw the circle. It says the diameter is the whole thing, right? So my diameter equals 8. And that's all you need to know for the circumference or the area, okay? Given the diameter, you can find either the circumference or the area. In this case, we're looking for the circumference because we're going around the edge. So, my formula, C equals pi times diameter. Pi is always going to be the same number. Pi is going to be 3.14 times 8. When I multiply that, 3.14 times 8, I get 25.12. Again, you can estimate 8 times 3 is what? 24. This is not 24. That's not 24. This is way off, right? So my only answer choice would have been B. Any questions so far? If there's any questions, please go ahead and leave them down in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and consider doing so. And if you haven't seen my other channel, MTV Alex, please go ahead and check that out. I'll leave a link, a card for you up here, and check it out and subscribe as well. Let's keep going. We have a few more samples. Number 1. Kayoshi runs a circular path around the field so that he's always 40 yards away from the center of the field. So he wants to be 40 yards away from that. Okay? So let's pretend that he has a string attached to his waist, and there's a stake at the middle, and he like a dog on a leash, right? Like a dog on a leash with the post in the middle. All that he can do is do a circular path, right? So again, we need to find, it says, if he runs 4 laps, that's another thing that we need to know at the end, right? What is the total distance that he ran? Again, we're gonna find the circumference, C equals pi d. In this case, my radius is 40. So my diameter must be how much? No. The radius is half the diameter. Let's work it with the radius formula. 2 pi r. Okay? Just in case. So I'm going to solve in the values that I know. Circumference equals 2 times 3.14 times radius is 40. There you go. You don't need to know the diameter if you don't want to. If they give you the radius, you can go ahead and work it with that. So now, 40 times 2 is what? 80. Correct? 80 times 3. We're estimating right now. 80 times 3. 8 times 3 is 24. 240. Let's look at my answer choices. This is not it. So we said it's close to 240, right? This is close. What about 500? No. What about 1000? No. So my diameter is going to be what? I mean, not my diameter. My circumference is going to be what? My circumference equals 251.2 yards. Now, the thing that I highlighted on the question, what does that say? Because if you pick B right now, you're going to get it wrong. What? What? Yes, because that's not the question. The question says that he runs 4 laps. So what do you have to do? It's one more step. Multiply times what? 4, because we have 4 circumference. So my answer is going to be what? D. I don't even have to multiply because it's obvious, right? We already eliminated everything else. But if you were to multiply, you will get that number. Pay attention to the little details on the questions. Any questions so far? No? Good, let's go. Number 3 says a small radio station can broadcast at a distance of 16 miles in all directions. 16 miles of all directions. It's just like this previous question, right? So you have, this is where the station is at, and this is 16 miles everywhere, right? So I mean 16 miles this way as well, right? So basically, this is my radius, so my diameter is going to be 32. Again, you can work it either way, right? So it says, what is the total area? Now we're talking about area. We're not talking about circumference anymore, right? So for the area, we always need the radius. Formula, area equals pi r squared, but you're going to be using pi times radius, because I don't want you to make any mistakes, okay? So in this case, my radius is that right there. And that's all you need. So we're going to go ahead and substitute the values in. This is going to be 3.14 times 16 times 16. This is a square. That's why this is the same as this right there. 16 times 16, that's 256. 16 times 16 is 256. When you multiply that times 3.14, let's go ahead and estimate. 250 times 3. That's going to be what? That's 750? So it's not definitely not B, right? It's not going to be C either because that's already less than 256, right? It's not going to be 3,000. That's like multiplying times 15, right? So it has to be B. Let's check that. 256 times 3.14. When you multiply that, you get 803.84, which is in fact B. Okay? Again, estimating in this type of questions, when you have multiple choice answer, is a really smart move. You don't have to do the whole operation. As long as you know what you're doing and think ahead, you can do this really, really fast. Mister, how do you know it's an area question? Right there. Let's see, more area questions. What do we have? Number 1 on page 3. Rotating sprinkler springs and shoots water at a distance of 7 feet. What is the approximate area that is being watered by the sprinkler? Again, same formula, pi times radius squared. Pi times radius times radius. 3.14. This is my radius, right? They gave me the radius, not the diameter. What if they would have given you a diameter of 20? How do you find the radius? Leave them down in the comments below. If they give you the diameter is 20, how do you find the radius, or what will the radius be? If they would have given you the diameter, all you have to do is divide it by 2, and that's going to be the radius. Times 7 times 7. You can multiply in any order. I always like to multiply the non-decimal ones first. This is going to be 49 times 3.14. Let's go ahead and estimate. 49 is really close to 50, right? 50 times 3 is going to be 150. So it's not going to be this right there. My only choice is going to be C. So when you multiply 3.14 times 49, you actually get 153.86. Area, 153.86. Now remember, when they're talking about area, the units have to be squared. If they give you both linear and square, and you pick the linear one, it's going to be wrong. But Mr. 153.86 is not 154. No, but that's the closest, right? Plus, look at what this word is, approximate area, right? They're just rounding. It's way off from A, B, or D. Does anybody have any questions so far? Let's see. Let's look at number 3, because this is one that we have to work backwards. Okay? It says, which circle has an area approximately of 78.5 square inches? So let's pretend that the answer choices are not given to me right there. And this is what I know. I know the area equals 78.5. I know pi is always the same. So I need to find my radius. Or diameter, it doesn't matter, right? So I can just go ahead and work this backwards. But how, mister? Easy. Substitute the formula on the numbers on the area. Area equals pi times radius, right? Or area equals pi r squared. So I'm going to substitute the values that I know. Instead of area, I'm going to do 78.5 equals, instead of pi, I do 3.14 r squared. Now we have a one-step equation. What is the 3.14 doing with the r? What is it doing? You got to solve for r. It's multiplying. The opposite will be to divide. So I got to divide this by 3.14. And what I do to one side, I do to the other side. So 78.5 divided by 3.14 is going to give me 25 equals r squared. Now, that's not the answer. That's radius squared. So what r squared means, you have to take the square root on both sides. Basically, you gotta find a number that when you multiply by itself is gonna give you 25 or close to 25. What number can you multiply by itself that gives you 25? 5, right? So this is gonna be 5. The radius is gonna be 5. That's the answer. The radius is 5. Now, is any of those answer choices right there? No, right? Now, if you would have stopped right here at 25, look at D. You picked D, and you're wrong. Right? Nothing gave me 20. Now, if the radius is 5, what is the diameter? If the radius is 5, what is the diameter? What is it? Very good. Double that. So my answer is A. Why not B? B is the radius, right? And my radius is 5, not 10, right? So it has to be A. Make sure you pay attention to what the diameter is. You're at home, look at this. This is the diameter. This is the radius. Diameter, radius. I know you guys can't see me. But if you extend both of your arms open, that's the diameter. If you put one hand down, one arm down, that's the radius. And I think I have a video for that. I'll leave it up here on the link, or you can find it on the circles playlist. All right, let's see. One more, and then you're on your own. Number 3, Nigel has a square sheet of construction paper with edges that are 25 centimeters long. So it's a square, right? Every side is the same. He wants to cut a largest possible circle from the construction paper to the nearest whole centimeter. What is the possible circle? Will have an area of what? So basically, he wants to cut a circle. What's the diameter that this circle can be? 25, right? That's the diameter. But if I need to find the area, I need the radius. So if my diameter equals 25, my radius is going to be half of that, right? 12.5. 12.5. So to find the area, all I got to do is multiply. Area equals 3.14 times 12.5 times 12.5. 12.5 times 12.5 gives me 156.25. 156.25. And I still have to multiply that by 3.14. You don't have any answer choices, so this is a numerical response, correct? So that times 3.14 gives you 490, which is going to be C, right there. All right, I'm gonna stop over here for now. If you learned something today, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, smash the notification bell on. And if you have any questions about any of these questions, please leave them down in the comments below. Other than that, that is it for this one, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.